honesty both take us to accepting the truth. Honesty helps us to reach the truth. Last class, we had good insights from Murli of 23rd July 1969. Power to put brake is important because to apply brake on thoughts is angelic power. We have an option to be in supreme company. So we have that choice. We can make that choice. Thank you.
So this is a nice revision that we just had, and importance of the cleanliness of intellect. Let's put it to practice. Clean intellect means an intellect of clarity. Clarity of being completely independent, completely separate from the story that is taking place. This story is not different to any other stories that we have read. The reader of the story is absolutely separate from the story itself. Even the actors in any story, they are separate from the characters and the performance. In these minutes of cleanliness, the invisible witness becomes conscious. Invisible witness is the observer of the story, belongs to the supreme sky, belongs to the family of God, belongs to the family of invisible stars. Story is continuing at its own script. Just like any story, it has its script. The body is in the story, the role is in the story. The witness is outside the story. There is a huge emphasis on this clarity and cleanliness of perspective. Invisible witness is noble, silent being, being of light, unearthly being. This witness is angelic. This angel, this being of divinity, is in the form of a point of light, point of love, point of might. This is what he is made of. Each soul is made of all these elements. During these minutes, fully conscious, being the master, belonging to the family of kings, real kings. For every scene that we witness in the drama, there is always an understanding that this is a drama, this is a story that is going on. With this perspective, the witness can be part of a scene, and in that same second, because he's conscious, he's not absorbing any scene. His experience remains that of an witness, invisible witness. So this is the Murli on the power of transformation. And so Baba, in our spiritual practice, in our study, the most important aspect is transformation. It is the proof of our study, our spiritual practice. And so transformation is very important, just like in any study. When a student is studying to become a barrister or an engineer, there is the more he imbibes the study, the more he is good at his studies, there is natural transformation in his position. So he is not a student anymore, but becomes an engineer. And so it's the same for the souls. But transformation has to be measured, or transformation has to be understood very clearly, because we may be spiritual students, but looking at transformation um, from a different perspective. So when you hear the word or listen to this word transformation, is there a symbol? What sort of symbol comes to your mind? Any thoughts on this? A symbol or one word that comes to your mind when you hear the word transformation? How do you understand transformation? So we can, thoughts from you? Maturity, transformation, like maturity.
We have change, infinite, caterpillar to butterfly, becoming different. Different ways of doing things. Yeah.
This is all good. So more context, we can say different and change, but in which aspect? Maturity in which aspect? Change in which direction? There are many different ways that different things are done, but what do we call transformation? How do you understand transformation?
We have some misunderstanding towards the usually triggering things.
Yeah.
And understanding others more.
Yeah.
Being loving towards them.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Any other thoughts from online?
Freeing inside out, come in truth, clean and fresh, perfection, day and night, improving your life.
for those who, with more depth and context, any images that you get from hearing the Murlis. So in Murlis, how does Baba uh, explain transformation to us? If anyone wants to share on that from the Murlis, how does Baba look at transformation? What is God's idea of transformation? Any reflections from Zoom?
Yug transformation to become a prince, angel. By purifying ourselves, we transform pure gold, Manishya se Devta, body conscious to soul conscious.
Whenever Baba talks about transformation, because we understand from everything from God's point of view. So keeping his point of view very clearly in front of us gives us a direction. So whenever Baba talks about transformation, it is the transformation of the form, transformation of who you are. So Baba gives us the example of fire. So he always talks in terms of fire. And fire is a symbol of transformation, because whatever you put into fire will not come out of it, the same. It completely transforms. And the transformation, as someone said, is a huge transformation, night to day. So if you put, a gold, mixed gold, you put into it, and the end result is pure gold. So it burns. Transformation. Whenever Baba talks about a transformation, he gives the example of fire, because all that is impure is burnt. Yeah? So it's good to keep that understanding in mind, that when we transform, so transformation of the form means all that is impure is finished once and for all. So our entire spiritual study and our entire spiritual practice is seen as spiritual practice is seen as a sacrificial fire. Always Baba says this, you're on the path of practice, spiritual knowledge, you're on the path of spiritual knowledge. And this study itself is it's like a sacrificial fire. So every time you remember who I am, that is a fire, Yoga Agni. So fire of remembrance. So whatever we study, whatever we understand, whatever we practice, it when it's fire, you come out of it leaving all the impurities. So this is the perspective on what transformation is. And very important area for any student, anyone who is a spiritual student, a very important area, transformation of the form. Form, who do you believe you are? This has to be transformed. Every other transformation will only take place once this is changed. Otherwise, all the transformation that we understand, understanding of love, understanding of forgiveness, good, improving, all of that only happens with the transformation of form. Who do I believe myself to be? Who do you believe you are? Who do you think you are? That is to be checked. We have to keep checking that. And our entire study, every session is because this has to be changed to being a point, being independent of the drama. So the soul is absolutely independent of the drama. And when I really put this into practice, then the form is changed. And when the form changes, then everything else transforms. The habits, the sanskars, the perspective, dealing, behaviors, everything. So Baba is saying the power of transformation is essential for the tests that come in Brahmin life. So any tests are part of, they are there for the lifetime, for entire lifetime. Tests are always present. Tests means something that comes up to test my impurities, or to see how much I've given up on my impurities. So, um, how much have I removed impurities? That is why we have tests. So we need tests constantly for any spiritual student. Tests are needed to check how much have I transformed. And Baba says when you have wasteful thoughts, you understand that they are wasteful. But just as there is a great force in a river or an ocean, so the flow of wasteful thoughts is so fast that they pull you. You understand and you also think that it is not right. You understand that it causes a lot of loss. So there is an understanding that this is waste, this is negative. Baba is not talking about negative, but there is an understanding that this is waste, this is absolutely useless, but still that force is strong, still that force is powerful. So Baba says you understand, you also think that it is not right. You understand that it causes a lot of loss, loss of power, loss of time, loss of thoughts, energy. So you understand, but you still continue to flow with them. You still continue to keep having those wasteful thoughts, keep wasting time. You still continue, and you still continue. This is what happens in the world in ordinary way. We all know what to do. We all know we need to think positive and all the, good knowledge. Everyone has that. But still, anger is present. Still, there are all the vices are present. All the vices from attachment to anger to every other vice is present. There is an understanding, but still it is present. Why? There's a huge gap. Understanding is 100%, but still everything else that is impure is present. That's not transformation, right? That is not transformation. Transformation means that once you put it in fire, it comes out pure. So understanding is not transformation. That is one point. It can lead me to transformation. It can lead me towards how do I approach transformation. But Baba is saying that you still continue to flow with them. What is the reason for this? What is the reason? Understanding is there, but impurities are also there. What is the reason? And impurities are not just there, but they pull me towards that. It keeps pulling me towards a downward spiral. So what's the reason for that?
Our desires.
Desires.
Desires of
Yeah.
laziness.
Yeah, and why are desires still there? What else is the reason?
Sanskar, lack of faith, not feeling full.
But still, what is what did you say?
Desires.
Desires.
Because we are not feeling contented. Like maybe 99% contented, but still there is 1%.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is an understanding. Yes. Both things are happening. There is understanding plus all the impurities are present. And, impurities are present. Where there is accurate understanding, then there is purification. So how do I change this? Before changing this equation, of understanding plus all the vices exist, I have to understand why this is the current scenario. Why is there this thing? Because of, Baba says, it is lack of transformation. Transformation of what? Yeah, lack of transformation. Because of lack of transformation, there is understanding plus all the vices. They still. Even if we say that, I don't get as angry as I used to get before. A seed is always there. Anytime there is a situation, it can be more than before. So it less and more doesn't matter actually in spiritual practice. It is a good motivator. We have to always keep that sense of uh, motivation. Congratulate yourself, but knowing that this less and more is not the aim. Aim is no impurity. Aim is not less and higher. So it's always, we always emphasize, especially here, there is always an emphasis that at least know what I am doing, how I am doing, know your, real state, know everything. No? Only then, when you know, when there has to be no denial. Complete clarity means no denial. That will always be the first step towards transformation. So before I change this equation, I have to understand there is understanding, there is knowledge, but impurities as well. This is because of lack of transformation. And lack of transformation of what?
Form,
Yeah, lack of
the form,
form.
the lack of transformation of the form.
Transformation of the form. Yeah. So what does that mean exactly? Form means
Meaning our state of mind.
state of mind. Okay. Any reflections from Zoom?
Identity, consciousness, your ability, sanskar, um, role, lack of ability, false identities.
So Baba says it is the lack of transformation of form. Yeah, of form. So Baba is saying the first special transformation is the transformation of your form. So what is our form? Form is of a point, of a point, of a soul. That is the form. So till this is not transformed, this is the first transformation. So being, there are many things. When we say that, what is the true form of each one? It is invisible, it is of a point. So soul is a point, soul is invisible, it is light. What else is the form? Soul is always beyond, it is eternal. And so there is no prize for knowing, these words, but coming into the experience of these words. Yeah. So being invisible. So straight from, right from the thoughts, form is transformed, that I'm a soul, I'm a point. Right from there. It's not that when I'm thinking, I'm still thinking I'm this gender, I'm this role, I'm this nationality, this culture. So in my thoughts, in my mind, this is the form. And externally, I am reading something. I'm listening to something that there is a soul, that is invisible, it is a point. No, this won't get me anywhere actually. Yeah? Because right from the level of my thoughts, I need to check what is the form. Who do I think I am? Yeah. Who do I think I am? Who do you think you are? People say, who do you think you are? So I have to ask that to myself, who do I think I am? And whatever I think I'm not that, because I am whatever, whenever we talk about this point being eternal, it's a point of light, it's invisible. These are not thoughts, these are not concepts, but this is the truth. So you're not thinking this, but once we start, um, you know, emerging this, it's not to look at it as a concept, but this is the truth of each one, and this is not to be heard, but to be experienced. So the form is being immortal. Form is being nothing to do with the body. Yeah? Anything that is associated to the body and to the role is not me, is not I. So let me check in my thoughts, in my day-to-day, awareness, right from when I wake up, right from when the eyes open. Who do I think I am? How am I functioning? Who do I think I am? And till this hasn't changed, impurities will not go anywhere. Yeah. Reading, listening, thinking, writing, they all have their place. But transformation, if we talk about transformation, letting go of, giving up of impurities, that happens once form is changed. Yeah, so Baba is saying a lack of power of transformation. The first special transformation is the transformation of your form. Look at the first transformation of your form. I'm not a body, but a soul. Check this. When there is the force of body consciousness, are you able to stabilize yourself in soul consciousness, or do you flow away? So when in the very first sentence, Baba said, um, this transformation, the power of transformation is very essential, and you have tests. Whenever there are challenges, upheaval, that's when I need this transformation. I need this transformation of this becomes my power. I shouldn't use the word need. This is the power. Transforming the form is the power. So against challenges, against test, transforming the form, right from thoughts, right from the level of thoughts. What is the form? Who am I? Yeah? So Baba is saying that check this. Check this. Against test papers, check this. And not only check, but use this power of transformation of the form. So anytime, like there is a person who visits your house, and he is very convinced, very much convinced that he owns your car. Yeah? He comes into your house and he is talking to you, and you know him very well, but he is this is not funny, but he is completely convinced that he owns your car. And he's stubborn and he's adamant on it that this is my car. So what are you, how do you resolve this situation? And this is a very serious condition when someone is convinced. For example, in another scenario, this there is a person who is convinced that he is this table fan. Not as a joke, but he is convinced that I am this table fan. So it is the same scenario, whether you consider yourself to be a table fan, or you consider yourself to own that car, or you consider yourself to be this role, be this body. It's the same thing, same confusion, same level of seriousness. Yeah? If a child is absolutely convinced that he is this table fan, you take him to the doctor, you take him to counselor, psychologist, therapist. This is the same scenario. Immortal, invisible point, eternal point of light, convinced that I am this role. Yeah, role's name is Peter. I'm convinced that I'm Peter. So at this time, Baba is saying, and check this. When there is a force of body consciousness, whenever there is a pull in your role, yeah, are you able to stabilize yourself in soul consciousness or do you flow away? If the power of transformation were to be used in a second, so much of your time and thoughts would be saved. So if in a second you change your form, you transform your form, then time is saved, thoughts are saved. In 1 second, just transform. Those who have the power of transformation are constantly pure, gentle, and humble. Humble means egoless. Yeah? There will be humility, gentleness, and purity. Baba also told you earlier that those who are able to mold themselves are real gold. So whenever there is mention of transformation, it we refer to gold. Yeah? Gold, if there is a lot of alloy mixed in gold and we put it into, fire, then all the alloy is burnt, and you get pure gold. And pure gold is very malleable. Yeah? It is, no matter you can transform it into a one, hundreds of meter of, just thin thread, very fine thread, uh, just by, it's so malleable because it's pure gold, you can mold it. Yeah. So Baba is saying that um, those who are able to mold themselves, those who are able to transform themselves. So transformation, molding, how do we understand transformation and molding? You can understand changing as per situations, transforming as per situations. But to mold is to be able to change my form, to change my form right at the level of thoughts. That is power to transform. If you just change external behavior, that is not molding. So real gold can mold. So check whether you are able to use the power of transformation at a time of need, or whether you continue to think about it after that time of need. So situation has passed, but continue to think about it, even at the time of need. So you need to increase the power of transformation. Those who have the power of transformation are loved by everyone. They will be easy, no complications in their thoughts. So power of transformation means, easy, simple. So there is always, what they are and what they are not. Yeah? What they are not is complicated. This is not a transformation where someone changes as per situation, but mentally they're so complicated, so submissive, they're completely suffocated. That's not the type of transformation Baba is talking about. Externally you transform, but internally you are more complicated. Every month and every week passes by and mind is more complicated. So Baba is saying that this power of transformation, they are real gold, they are able to mold, the soul is able to mold, change the form, and easy, simple in thoughts, right at the level of thoughts, at the level of seed. So we check the seed, not the fruits that are given by that seed, but you check the seed. Behavior, actions, and speech, these are all fruits of the seed. But what is the seed? So not complicated. So this is the Murli of 26th of November 1994. And one of the points is, as a summary to practice, is that when a tests come, this is one of the most useful powers. With this power, instead of being dragged by body consciousness, I remain soul conscious by changing my form in a second. So this is the power of transformation. So any thoughts from Zoom? what's the practice to increase this power of transformation? What's the method?
Um, Somebody has written attention. Also, somebody has asked, can you give us an example on how to do it?
We have to know how to do it. Is very simple. That this is the form. Yeah, this is the form of the soul, and keeping in attention how just asking this question again and again. Who do I think I am? Who do I think I am? And see if your last 5 minutes was I acting from the consciousness of being from a certain nationality, being, this role, whatever, then transform it back to the soul is an immortal, soul is invisible. So it is just changing the thoughts, transforming the thoughts. Transforming thoughts means leaving the thoughts of role consciousness to the thoughts of soul consciousness. Soul is a point. If there is fear, yeah, at the time of fear, feeling a certain level of negative emotions, dark emotions, I have to ask myself, who do I think I am? Because whatever I'm thinking, if I'm thinking myself to be a certain role, if I'm thinking myself to be a character in the story, then there is fear, then there is insecurity of, um, you know, someone saying something, somebody acting in a certain way. All of that is because of I have to check what is my position. Yeah. So form, Baba has highlighted, emphasized, form is the seed of root of everything. If my form is not non-physical in my thinking, so we are all points, but we don't think ourselves to be points. We are all souls, not Peter, but thinking is that I'm Peter, I'm so and so, I belong to XYZ, I own XYZ, I have to do, this is my responsibility. So all of this is related to, whole life is spent, um, revolving around Peter. So soul is a soul, but thinking itself to be Peter, just like somebody thinking, believing that they are this table fan. So how do they change? They have to be reminded, but then they have to accept it. They have to accept their form. They have to accept their true nature. And accepting means using it, seeing myself from that perspective, seeing myself as a point, believing myself to be a point. So believing is a, you know, different word, but all it means is having faith of my form.
There's one more question. Yogagni is remembering who you are or remembering Baba. And that's the first question. And the second is, since yoga means two or more coming together, that's again a question mark.
So only soul can remember the Supreme Soul. So if soul is awakened, then there is remembrance of Supreme Soul. If soul is not awakened, so these are not steps. Yeah? It's not a step that first I am a soul and then I remember Baba. But these are different sides of the same coin. If I am a soul, then I remember the Supreme Point. If I am thinking of Baba, that is not remembrance of Baba. I'm thinking about, you know, at the level of my thoughts, my form is of Peter, and it's in the morning, I'm lying on my bed. Peter is lying on the bed and thinking that I'm a soul. This is the early morning time, and I should remember Baba. Soul is not awakened because the form is still that I am Peter. So these are not steps. There is no hierarchy. First I do this, then I do that. It's the same. So we have to understand that soul consciousness is realizing who God is and connection to God. So that union is only when the soul is awakened. It's not thinking about Baba, it's not thinking about the soul, but it's being, transforming the form of who am I. Once the form is transformed, there are no impurities, then I experience myself to be in the company of God. If my form is I'm a Peter, there is no impurity that is removed. And I can be thinking a lot of Baba, I can be talking a lot about Baba, but this is nowhere close to remembrance. This is nowhere close to remembrance. It is a very nice game of Maya. And if one is innocent, if one does not have knowledge of Maya, then years are spent in years are spent in a wrong type of practice.
Okay, so this person is saying mind gets frightened by all the points of daily Murli, which is related to Vinash. Please tell some counter thought to replace all those frightening thoughts from Murli, which has already been created in the past.
Yeah. Murli, everyday Murli is of 4 pages, about 100 to 120 points, sentences in one Murli, about more than 500, 600 words. Some of the words are what you spoke about. So how to conquer them, how to counter them, sorry, focus on other points. I again have to ask myself, who do I think I am? Because whatever I think I am, that is how I process all the information that is coming my way. That is how I process what someone is saying, how someone is explaining. So I have to ask that, change my position, then listen, imbibe anything uh, with a fresh perspective. How is it that from a 4 page, 500 or 600 or 700 words, I am stuck, my mind is stuck on 3 words. So what does it tell me about me? What is it telling me about my identity? What is it hinting me about who I think I am? So if I'm very deeply convinced and believing that I am this table fan, then anytime anyone talks about destruction of the fan, I am threatened. Yeah, I am not able to focus on anything because my identity is that I am this table fan. And so someone just walked in and said that this fan will not be present tomorrow. So they say 1,000 words, but I am just frightened by that one thing because my identity is that I am that fan. So check your form, change it. Yeah? There is no other way to counter anything than transform. And from the same Murli, there are hundreds of points. So I have to ask myself on what am I taking in? Yeah, and why am I taking in? What is my identity? And any identification that I have, which is causing discomfort, that is an identity based on the story, based on the story. So any identity based on the story will frighten you. Yeah, because ego is blocking the soul. Frightening, fear, doubt, anxiety, all of this is result of identification from the story. So in today's Murli, there is the technique to transform these identifications. Come back to real form. Yeah? Think of yourself, believe, accept, having faith in who I am. Any other question? We'll just take maybe two more. And then
You might have explained this, sister, but I think if you can put highlight. Somebody is asking that so we get nothing from thinking about Baba.
yeah, thinking, yeah, if the form is still of Peter and Peter is thinking about Baba, yeah, nothing, because form has to be changed, that who is thinking about Baba. So it's not about what, it's about who. So nothing comes out of thinking about this. What you are thinking is not the main question. Who is thinking is the main question. So if Peter is thinking, then nothing. If soul is creating thoughts, then everything. So who is behind? Who is, what is the perspective? That is important. That's the main question.
Someone has just shared something. Have a check on if I'm seeing the drama or I'm under the influence of it. Yeah, no more questions. Yeah.
So let's, we should draw a line here. And if who is clear, who is in clarity, you know, this question of who, if I get that right, and not intellectually, but in being. So let's focus on being, a point. So when behind every thought, if the point, the invisible light, that is, that awareness is there, that awareness, soul conscious awareness. So when the soul is conscious, then there is a different approach. When the soul is not conscious, there can be many thoughts and thinking and speaking, but soul is sleeping, so it's pointless. Beyond that point, it's all pointless. So Baba, you know, it's, yeah, it's basically, it may have its own place, but in the bigger picture of transformation, it doesn't have any effects. So let's create this, let's use this power of transformation. And again, in using this power of transformation, first thing is to transform the form. Form of who am I? Soul is nothing but a point, tiny point, noble, immortal, and eternal. Words are spoken by a character. Words are being heard. Sound is heard by somebody. And the invisible witness is watching this, is witnessing. Speaking and listening. Invisible witness is a noble personality, egoless, free from vices, belongs to the supreme sky, a world beyond the story, the drama world, drama theater. The invisible witness is an observer of the entire drama. There is an exchange between different roles, entire drama is a small and short drama. One can stay beyond even while watching the drama. Staying beyond is simply clear awareness of who am I? Very clean perspective. There is no mixing. There is no confusion based on the role, the character. Any confusion based on the role is a weakness. Invisible witness is strengthened with clarity. Thank you. Till next time, Shanti.